So when you're dealing with these college coaches and they come back to say the second time after they get the database and they've been doing all their recruiting, they're looking for specific players. But what's the first thing they ask for when they're getting ready to really dial it in as far as scholarships and giving opportunities? What's the first thing they do?
First thing you're gonna say, what are his attributes, right? What's his physical attributes? Is he tall enough? Is he big enough? Second thing, what's his grades like? I mean, it's every coach or recruiter I deal with. The first thing, I'm like, oh, how tall is he? How big is he? How fast is he? What does he look like? After they get to that part, what's his grades? Does he have good grades? Is he qualifier? Is this that? What's his major? And then after that, which is another part of academia, but kind of not, is your character. What kind of kid is he?
Yeah.
Does he take the initiative? Is he a kid that sits back? Is he a quiet kid? So those things, and people say, oh, that doesn't, but it does coincide. Your character and your behavior is correlated with how your grades are. If you're a funny, practical joker, loudmouth kid in the classroom, guess what? Your grades probably reflect to be pretty low because you're always causing distractions. If he's a focused kid and he's quiet and he keeps his head down and does his thing, 9 times out of 10, those are pretty good students.
Yeah.
So I think that's so. And to answer your question, that's the order it goes in. How big is he? And all that stuff. And then I want to know what his grades are like. And I, sometimes I hate to admit this, but sometimes I gotta go like, oh, well, he's got good grades. Coach, I think he's pretty good. I think he's around the 3.0 range. And the kid will have bad grades. And I'm like, shit, dang, I wish I wouldn't have told the coach that. Or I'll tell the coach, if I really don't know, coach, you need to request his transcripts. And I said, and I tell coaches all the time, I say, you'll know how good his grades are by how fast he's going to send you his transcripts. Outstanding students will send you his transcripts like that.
Yeah.
A student is struggling. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they'll even ask what else I need to do. What else do you need, coach?
Exactly.
Because I don't know, I always get a kick out of this. So, when I approach kids and I get in their space when I'm asking questions, because then a kid has to make a decision on whether he's going to lie or he's not. And we talk about, we're talking about earlier, but honesty and being as humble as you possibly can when it comes to these coaches is everything, because it really hurts the reputation of you, your coaches, the program, and it really does all that consider it. And that will be somewhat of a virus that'll go to all these other coaches that may be interested in you.
Yeah.
And coaches obviously talk. And, I always ask it, how are you doing in your classes? I like small talk. I like to just small talk kids, especially when I recruit. It's like, how are you doing in class, whatever. But I get into a proximity to where I know whether or not they're telling me the truth or not. Exactly. And because as well as I do, and I'm going to look right at the camera when I say this, all you young student athletes never do anything wrong. You're always doing good in your classes. And the fact of the matter is, when a coach shows up and he asks for that transcript, that's going to decide whether or not you're getting that opportunity. And in your lies or whatever, come on, man, the transcript does not lie. We need to have a shirt, coach. That's what you got to have on the back of your shirt.
That is true. Transcripts don't lie. Exactly. And that's a quote we need to put on when you tag this. And kids they just gotta understand, man. I mean, I would have more respect for a kid telling me he's struggling in school and that he's having problems with it than a kid that's gonna lie to me about it and I find out about it later on. Because the bottom line, if you tell me you're doing good and I move on with the process, you wasted that much of my time when I go to find out that you had bad grades or whatnot. And this is parents need to watch their kids' grades. Parents need to be involved in the process. I hate that when I'm not involved and I don't understand. Well, then that's your fault. The reason why your kid is not getting recruited is partially your fault because you're not involved as a parent. You need to monitor their grades. If you really want this for your kid and your kid wants it for themselves, again, you're asking a 14, 14-year-old, right, to be responsible like that. How are you going to be like, oh, he just does it on his own and I'm not worried about it? That's BS, man. You got to be a parent in their life and hold them accountable at that age and stay on top of it at the age of 13, 14 when they're coming in as freshmen all the way through so they can understand. If they do this right, that gives them one more reason not to say no when they recruit you.